The message arrived 17 years late. It slipped through the comm relay above the dust-choked moon of Halcyon 9, bounced through 3 failing satellites, and finally appeared as a flicker of blue light in the workshop where Cale Oren spent his days repairing machines no one else wanted to touch. The air smelled of hot metal and ion grease when the screen stabilized, resolving into a single line of text. "I found your signal. I'm coming." Cale stared at it, his hands frozen around a spanner. He had not sent a signal in almost 2 decades. Not one that could be traced. The galaxy was wide, cruel, and forgetful. That was why he had chosen Halcyon 9, a place so far off the trade routes that even smugglers avoided it. Only one person would write like that. Only one person would cross the galaxy for him. Lyra Voss. Years earlier, before the running and the hiding, Cale had been a systems architect for the Union of Inner Worlds. Lyra had been a xenolinguist assigned to translate signals from deep space anomalies, echoes of civilizations long gone. They met on the research station Arden Spire, a cathedral of glass and steel drifting above a blue gas giant. They worked late nights together, decoding fragments of impossible languages and arguing over the ethics of listening to the dead. Lyra believed the past deserved to be heard. Cale believed some doors were sealed for a reason. Between debates and shared meals, something grew, quiet, steady, and unspoken. Not romance in the dramatic sense, but trust. A belief that the other would be there tomorrow. That belief shattered the day Cale disappeared. On Halcyon 9, the present felt heavier than the past. Cale reread the message until the letters blurred. If Lyra had found him, then the protections he'd put in place were failing. Or worse, she had followed the trail he never meant her to see. He shut down the workshop and stepped outside. The sky was a dull copper, the sun a pale coin behind toxic clouds. Far above, faint and blinking, a ship's drive signature cut across the heavens, clean, powerful, unmistakably advanced. She had not just come looking. She had crossed the galaxy in a vessel capable of ignoring borders and time. The landing shook the ground. Dust rose in slow spirals as a sleek silver ship settled near the settlement's edge. Its hull bore no insignia, only scars, micrometeor strikes, and burn marks that told a story of long travel and narrow escapes. Cale stood rooted as the ramp lowered. Lyra emerged alone. She looked older, though space travel did strange things to age. Her hair, once dark, was threaded with silver. Her eyes, sharp as ever, scanned the barren landscape until they found him. They locked onto each other across the dust. She walked toward him, boots crunching on broken stone. When she stopped a few steps away, her voice was steady, but there was a tremor beneath it. "Why did you leave me?" The question had crossed more light years than most people ever would. Cale had rehearsed answers for years, explanations layered with logic and necessity. None of them survived the sound of her voice. "I left to keep you alive," he said finally. Lyra's expression hardened. That's what people say when they don't want to tell the truth. Cale gestured toward the ship. "You shouldn't be here. If the Union tracked you." "They didn't," she cut in. "I made sure of that. I learned things after you vanished. Things you never trusted me with." That stung more than he expected. "I trusted you with everything that mattered." "No," she said softly. "You trusted me with what you chose to share." She turned and walked back toward her ship. After a moment, Cale followed. The settlement's few inhabitants watched from a distance, sensing history they wanted no part of. Inside the ship, the air hummed with contained power. Strange glyphs glowed along the walls. Hybrid technology, human design interwoven with something older. "You built this?" Cale asked despite himself. "I finished it," Lyra replied. "You started it." She pulled up a hologram. Schematics Kale recognized instantly. A theoretical engine he had designed in secret on Arden Spire, one that could fold space not by brute force, but by listening to the resonant structure of the universe itself. It was never meant to be built, Kale said. It was a thought experiment. It was a map, Lyra said. And you left it behind. The truth, once exposed, refused to stay buried. Kale had discovered that the Union was using anomaly signals not just to listen, but to control. By amplifying certain frequencies, they could influence emerging civilizations, nudging them toward compliance before first contact was ever made. Kale had confronted his superiors. They had smiled and told him it was for the greater good. He ran that same night, knowing that knowledge made him a liability. What he hadn't known, what still haunted him, was that the Union had already flagged Lyra as useful. Her talent for languages made her invaluable to their plans. I couldn't risk them using you to find me, Kale said, or using me to control you. So you decided for me, Lyra replied. You erased yourself from my life without giving me a choice. Kale looked away. If I had stayed, you would have followed. You always did. And you always underestimated me, she said. She activated another display. Union documents filled the air, classified, damning, undeniable. Lyra had spent years uncovering them, moving from world to world, piecing together the truth Kale had tried to outrun. I didn't cross the galaxy just to ask why you left, she said. I crossed it because we're running out of time. The Union was preparing to activate a network, an array of deep space resonators that would permanently alter the way intelligent species developed. Free will, reshaped by invisible hands. And your ship? Kale asked. Proof it can be done differently, Lyra said. The engine doesn't dominate space. It listens. It responds. Kale felt the old excitement stir, tempered now by fear. If they get this technology, they won't, Lyra said. Not if we finish what you started. Outside, alarms wailed. A Union drone slipped through the atmosphere, its presence unmistakable. They followed you, Kale said. They followed the idea of you, Lyra corrected. There was no time left for arguments. They worked side by side as they once had, hands moving in practiced rhythm, minds reconnecting across the years. The ship shuddered as systems came online, the alien glyphs flaring brighter. The drone fired, scorching the ground where the ship had been moments before. Space folded. Sound vanished. When reality snapped back into place, Halcyon 9 was gone. They emerged at the edge of the resonator network, a lattice of artificial stars humming with stolen songs of the universe. The scale of it stole Kale's breath. This is where it ends, Lyra said. They transmitted the data they had gathered to every open channel they could reach, independent worlds, fringe colonies, anyone who might listen. The Union responded with force, but the truth traveled faster than their weapons. As the network destabilized, Kale made a final adjustment. There's a feedback loop, he said. If I route the engine through the core, you'll be trapped in the fold, Lyra said, understanding instantly. It will collapse the network, Kale replied. For good. Silence stretched between them, heavy and familiar. I didn't come this far to lose you again, Lyra said. Kale met her gaze. You didn't lose me before. I chose a path you didn't agree with. And I chose to follow anyway, she said. Together, they recalculated. The engine sang, a harmony instead of a command. The resonators fell silent, their influence dissolving into the cosmic background. Union ships retreated, their power base shattered not by violence, but by exposure. When it was over, the galaxy felt quieter, freer. The ship drifted in open space, systems cooling. Kale waited for the familiar pull of separation, the sense that one of them would have to leave. It didn't come. We're not done, Lyra said, breaking the silence. There are worlds that will need help understanding what almost happened. Kale nodded slowly. And places like Halcyon, 9 that deserve to be more than hiding spots. She looked at him, not accusing now, but searching. So, she said gently, why did you leave me? Kale answered without running this time. Because I was afraid that if I stayed, I'd ask you to sacrifice everything for me. Lyra smiled, tired but real. Next time, she said, let me choose. The ship turned toward uncharted stars, not fleeing, but moving forward together. 2 voices listening to the galaxy, determined not to control it, but to understand it at last.